Hi guys! So this is going to be my review for Kitten's Playpen. Now my big disclaimer is that this is going to be my personal experience with the company as a whole. This is not just a product review, this is a company review. My biggest thing is that I'm going to be honest, very honest. The reason for that is that I feel not only is it not fair to those who are looking at these reviews in order to decide if they wish to make a purchase, but it's not fair to the company itself. Maybe this is just me, but I personally feel that an honest review of a company is going to be able to give them an idea what things they do a great job at and what things definitely need working on. Knowing those things is going to be able to give said company an ability to grow if they take those as constructive criticism. So my personal opinion on all of this isn't going to be the same as everyone else's, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be the same as somebody else's. It doesn't have to be an all-encompassing, this is how it is with everybody. Some people have some great experiences, some people have some terrible experiences. This is just my experience. So with that out of the way, let's begin. Alright, so the first thing that I ordered about 4 months ago was a 28-inch half-wired tail in black fox fur with the attachment of a ribbon and a pin. At the time, there was a lot of things that they didn't have available that they do now that would have probably made my experience as a whole a lot better. I had a misunderstanding of the fur and how the fur worked, and at the time there wasn't a video comparison, and so my misunderstanding led me to believe that I would be happier with the black fox fur because I assumed that that was what was pictured in the advertisement that they have as the product description. With that in mind, the product description didn't really exist aside from a picture. It didn't really give you any better understanding aside from the picture and a description of the different wire types. While I appreciate the different wire types quite greatly because they go into quite depth on ways that it's better, worse, pros and cons of each kind, there isn't anything to let you know what the fur is in the picture that's provided, the height of the model, the wiring type, and the attachment type. That may have changed with the new site update. I haven't really looked recently. So, with that said, I had ordered black fox fur with the intention of having regular fox fur. That was my misunderstanding, and when I had come to that realization after the video that they posted of the fur comparison, I contacted their customer support. Now early on, I loved their customer support. While they weren't able to make those changes for me due to the policy that has later changed since I believe July 1st, which is another thing that I think that if that policy had been changed at a more early time or was available for me, I would be a lot happier because it was about 2 weeks into my order. I still had about 2.5 months to go before I'd even receive it. Unfortunately, because of that, I got stuck with my black fox fur. They were very polite about it. They even, due to my issues that I had, as an apology for the fact that they weren't able to make those differences, and also dealing with issues with my misunderstanding of the processing time being increased since it was shortly after they had hired a lot of new people, I had to have them change the address because I was moving out of my Laramie apartment and back home for the summer, and so unfortunately it was the wrong address provided. Not only did they change that, but they were kind enough to upgrade me to the higher tier of their tracking, so that I actually could follow where my package was and I would receive it faster. This way it was able to avoid any potential that I might not go to the right place because I might move again. The box I received the tail in, which yes, I kept for this very reason, was this one. Nice little stickers. It's actually really cute, I'll be honest. And then it had pink for the filler paper and 2 suckers. I'm currently eating one, so ha. As well as having my tail in here, if you can hear me over that paper, it has their business card and it's also a thank you on the back. It has what to do if there's an issue with the order and also all of their social media if you wish to talk to them, whether it's for praise or questions, which was pretty helpful to have. Both of these are fairly high quality, they're nice and laminated, the art's original, that's pretty cool. Then they also have right here all about how to take care of the fur for the tail and ears, for the tears, and how to keep them in good condition, clean them, brush them without losing a lot of hair or having any issues. It's pretty thorough, so that was really appreciated. This is the 28-inch black fox fur, half wired, and it has the ribbon attachment, which is very well sewn on, as well as a pin. Now the pin is one of those, and I don't know how to really describe this best, where you have a piece that you turn that will lock the pin into place, unlike a safety pin that has potential if it's pushed to come back out. I don't know if it's just my pin or what, but it doesn't stay. I got really lucky when I wore it with my swimming suit photo shoot that I did very recently for the chateau, which hopefully you guys will get to see this tail all flowy in that. It stayed on that. But anytime I'd worn it previously, it would fall off within 5 minutes of me putting it back on. So if I were to be wearing jeans rather than pinning it, I would simply tie it with the ribbon. That's not really convenient for a lot of people though. If you didn't get a ribbon attachment and you got a pin and it did that, it would drive me insane. Aside from that, the half wire, it feels really thin, but it seems incredibly durable, comparatively. It makes it really easy to flex, so I can easily shape it however I want, without it being over the top, potentially worrisome, and it doesn't hurt. Some of the wires I've had, well, the wire I've had in another one was a bit thick, and while it does its job really well, it is kind of complicated to get it to change its shape. So this one's pretty nice in that sense. Now, my biggest complaint was the fur at the time of purchase, but to be honest, it's not that bad. Despite the fact that it isn't what I wanted, that it's shinier and coarser than I wanted, it's still really soft, and it still has a fairly realistic vibe. It definitely has a fox-like color tone to it, and it looks in the light more like it, but it's not as bad as I was worried it would be. So I can't really say that that was a big issue anymore. So long story short, my personal experience with buying the tail was actually not that bad. It was frustrating, and I admit that the first few weeks of owning it, I was still a little bitter about a lot of it, so I had kind of held a grudge against this tail, but I'm pretty happy with it now. So I would definitely say if you intend to get a tail, just now that there's a lot of more available options and resources, definitely go for it if you're willing to wait. The problem is I'm not super patient, and part of me feels that the price is not as good as it could be considering I'm not as happy with the production, but it's not the worst at all. It may not be my highest recommendation for a tail, but I definitely say that if you're really happy with what you've seen of it, I think it's actually pretty good. Now the collar that I received came in this pink box. It had a little package, one of those white ones that's cushioned with like bubble wrap inside, but inside it was the box. Now right now the box is holding a couple other things because I did get another couple of orders the same day. And so let me get those out of there. The box was just simple as that, just a little bit of the squishy paper, and then it had a little pink bag that has the lock in it. Now I had recently, and it may sound really silly, I had actually purchased these little hearts in here, mostly because I'm silly and I wanted my bag to look fancy, and if I'm going to keep a lock in there, or if I'm going to keep my keys, because I'm going to have keys for a couple of things that are going to be staying in this bag, I wanted it to be really cute, so I'm also probably going to get a couple other gemstones and such from the store to put in here. I'm a dork like that. So it came with that, and then it came with the collar. Now, there was also on top this cute little Hello Kitty bag that had another sucker in it. They put candy and everything, which I love. So here's the actual collar. The collar itself is actually pretty cute. It came with a black ribbon for tying in the back as well, which is nice and thin. The collar itself is actually a lot thinner than I expected. A couple of the other collars that I've purchased or had made for me were on the thicker end, and while there are pros and cons to that. I love thicker because thicker makes my neck look longer. I feel it's a lot more elegant, but the thinner is definitely easier for daily wear and if I'm wearing it in public. Now, it has black webbing on it. I got with black ribbon, a lavender for the middle and the black for the actual bow with an O-ring, and I had gotten a lace skirt. Now, I don't think you'll be able to see it, and I will probably actually show pictures of it as well. This is where my biggest complaint comes in. The lace skirt is almost impossible to see. It's itty bitty and tiny. That's not a lace skirt, that's barely a lace trim. I did contact their customer service and I was unimpressed. With their customer service, they told me that it was completely fine, it was made right. I showed them a picture comparison. I even put, because it is black on black, I put a business card that I had underneath it to show better where it sat and that it was better visible. They tried to tell me that this was the proper length that all of their lace skirts looked like, and that the only reason it looked small is because it's black on black. I call bullshit on that one. So I ended up actually getting a hold of Sarah herself, I believe. Sarah is the one who runs not only her own Tumblr, but as well as their, like, the specific company's Tumblr. And so I got a hold of them on there, which normally they don't let you do too much because it's harder to get a hold of somebody, what with the inconsistency of them receiving their messages, but she got a hold of me very quickly, like within the hour, which is a big deal to me considering customer service usually takes about a day to 3, which makes sense. And I admit that the reason that they contacted me as fast as they did was because it was an issue that I was asking them and I needed their help. Now, I asked her about my issues with the tail, which is when she told me that the policy had changed, which I accepted. And then I showed her a comparison of the lace. When she got back to me on that, again within the hour of me asking, she said that the issue was that I had chosen the lace type 1, and that as a lace skirt, it's such a thin width of lace that it doesn't really do the lace skirt aspect of it justice. There were 2 things that were bothersome with that, but I didn't really say a whole lot simply because it was in the past and there was no reason to be passive-aggressive about stuff. But from what I can tell, the lace skirt is sewn together because they lined the lace up with this specific thread, this specific seam. Now, I understand that this lace is a lot thinner than other laces in the sense of width, but that doesn't mean that it's impossible to give it a skirt effect. What they could have done is instead lined it up with this specific seam, giving it about that much, which is a decent enough amount that it would give you exactly how much you wanted for a skirt, and it'll still give the right effect. That being said, despite the fact that that was an issue, it's still really cute, and honestly, even if the lace skirt's not done correctly, I've learned from it. I think that with the addition of things that they're putting on their site, there's potential for that to be an easier resolved problem, and it doesn't make it any less cute. It was all of $2 to add a lace skirt. $2 isn't that big of a deal for a mistake on there. Now the other thing that's really big is, as they always advertise, and a lot of people love to, since it's got webbing, high resistance. I am tugging really hard. Now the reason I'm not going to do the snap method is because the first time I did that I had a friend around, and specifically the little heart charm that I have, because I have a heart charm and a lavender bell. This heart charm shot off and hit him in the neck. The wires for the charms themselves are not very high strength, though at the same time that shouldn't be a necessity, so I can't really complain about that whatsoever. I don't know a lot of people who during any of the kinkier things that you may be doing with your collar are going to have a need to snap it out. It definitely can withstand a lot. Just if you've got charms, try not to do the snapping method to test it. I had to rebend the wire on there and I may have to get new ones because both of them bent so bad. It's sad, but it's true that happened. But with my personal experience, I would say Kitten's Playpen isn't the worst, but it's not the best. They do make pretty good stuff. I don't feel the weight's really worth the stuff. I myself, as one who has been an art student and definitely strongly respects a lot of art, I definitely understand that for really good products, it's gonna take a lot of time. Unfortunately, I don't feel that this product is as good as the time would suggest. Waiting 3 to 4 months in order to receive this wasn't that enjoyable. I didn't feel that excited when I got it. Say about a month and a half in, I kind of wasn't all that thrilled anymore because it wasn't something crazy special. And when I did receive it, it wasn't so mind-bogglingly impressive that all of my distaste of the waiting time had been wiped from my head. I would say that they're good, but they aren't really worth the hype they've got. They aren't bad. They are not bad. They're not my favorite. By a long shot, they're not my favorite. The people are really sweet if you get the right ones, and they do their best to help you. But at the same time, it's taken a little too long for a lot of the adjustments that I feel were necessary for the company in order to make it a lot more customer friendly. So personally, I may not have had the best experience. Maybe I was a fluke. Maybe a lot of this was just bad luck on my part. I could be wrong. So with that, I hope you guys didn't mind my review. Again, I apologize that it isn't super all positive. It isn't all negative, but I wanted something honest. I hope everybody has a really good day, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye!